What's going on, guys? This is KNasty3090 here, and you can see on the screen it finally happened. Manny Machado was traded to the Dodgers. We're going to go over the trade, tell you who won, and how this was just a major screw-up, in my opinion, by the Orioles. Not just off this trade, but I'll get into it a little bit more. But first off, let's just go over the sheer trade. The Dodgers have acquired Manny Machado for a bunch of prospects. The big one is Yusniel Diaz. He's the big piece. The other pieces are going to be, as you can see here, Dean Kremer, Zach Pop, Ryan Bannon, and Valeria. I'm not even trying to say his first name. The only one I know of is Diaz. I mean, he's a pretty well-known prospect. If we go and take a look at the top prospects on MLB Pipeline, Diaz is number 4. So here he is right here. If you want to know a little bit more about him, we're going to take a look in case you guys want to know a little bit more about him. We'll gladly do that. He's only 18 years old. He was signed out of the international signing period, but he was a late signing in November. He was in AA this year. He was hitting over 300, 314 average, 8 stolen bases, walked more than he struck out. So that's pretty promising. He not a huge slugger, only 6 home runs, a 477 slugging percentage. As you can see here, his best trait, I would say he doesn't really have a weakness if you look at the scouting grades on the 20 to 80 scale. He has 55 hit, 55 run, 55 arm, 55 field, which is all above average, and 45 power, which is slightly below average. All in all, he's not going to be subpar in anything, and the sum of his parts will be greater than what just one part of it. So all in all, he's a pretty good player, but people who thought the Orioles were going to get a big time prospect in this trade, badly mistaken. Now, Diaz is not a bad player. I'm not saying but he is not a top 100 prospect, for instance, according to Keith Law. As you see in Keith Law right here. Now, this was back in February when he posted this, before the season started. Now, he will have an updated updated top 50 prospects soon, but I don't think Diaz would have made it. As you can see here, though, he was below Buehler, Verdugo, Yedier Alvarez, and Keibert Ruiz. He was ahead of guys like DJ Peters, a pretty well-known Gavin Lux, Will Smith, the catcher. He is above those guys. As you can see here is a little write-up from him this past year from 2017. They noted that he did hit well. He can play all 3 outfields, which is nice. So he's like a good player. He will be a major league player. Like, no doubt he will be in the bigs. So that's good for Baltimore. They got him. Now the other pieces, as you can see here, Kremer. Now he was a 14th round pick in the 2016 draft. He is currently 22 years old. I think he is in AA, I believe. He was in AA and in High A this year. He's a pitcher. He just got promoted. Excuse me. He's only pitched 7 innings in AA. So we'll see what happens with him. But he's not a big time prospect. For instance, on Keith Law, he's not in his big top 20. On the Pipeline, I don't think he is on this. I could be wrong, but I checked a second ago and I didn't see his name on this. He's not. Okay, he's at 28. So as you can see, he's not a big time prospect. He's their 28th prospect in their system. So he's not a big name, but I mean, he can be an organizational arm, maybe a guy you call up. Zach Pop, who's been pitching outstanding. Now, he was a 23rd round pick from the 7th round pick, a 23rd round pick originally by the Blue Jays, but then a 7th round pick in 2017. Now, he has been in High A, and his ERA is .33. It looks like he's a reliever. He has not started any games, so he's only a reliever. Maybe he can be a mid-relief pitcher, maybe a setup man, something in the future. That's not a bad piece. Ryan Bannon is a 22-year-old. He was drafted in the 8th round of the 2017 draft. He has been in High A ball. He's hitting 296 to 402 on base, a 559 slugging. Actually has 20 home runs, but he is 22. That's slightly old for High A. But, I mean, there's a little bit of pop in that bat. You see what happens. And then Valeria, who is currently, I think he's 26. He has been in the bigs a little bit, so he has had a little bit of experience. He'll probably step in right away and play for the Orioles. No, he was traded from the Dodgers. All in all, they got one at least legit prospect. I don't want to call him a big time prospect in Diaz, but he's a prospect. And then the other guys are kind of just, hey, they might turn into something. They're still years and years away. They might turn into something. We'll see. But they traded a top 10 to 15 player in baseball, in my opinion, in Manny Machado. The problem what the Baltimore Orioles did is they waited. They waited way too long to trade him. And you're like, well, it's July 18th. What do you mean? The trade deadline's not for 2 weeks. There was no reason for him to start the year on the Orioles. The Orioles, for some reason, thought they were going to be good this year. They signed Alex Cobb to a 3-year, $30-something million deal in February. He's been awful. They thought like they were spending money to win this year. Duquette and ownership, I don't know what they're thinking. They should not have been doing this. What should have happened is Duquette should have been fired in the offseason, get a new general manager in, get all new management in there. If you want to keep Buck Showalter, keep Buck. But those guys should have made the trade because Duquette's going to get fired probably at the end of the season. So why is he making a trade for the future when he's probably going to get canned? Maybe he doesn't, I don't know. But the other thing is the Orioles have been so stupid with their money. They gave Chris Davis a massive 6-figure contract. Over $100 million. That money should have then gone to Manny Machado. They should have, instead of when Davis was a free agent, let him go. Put that money, go ask Manny, does he want it? No, maybe he doesn't want it. That's the thing. But if he didn't want to be there, this past offseason, they should have traded him. For one, they would get some things that they wouldn't have gotten now. A top 50 prospect in baseball. Because any team that would have got Manny Machado in a trade in the offseason has him for a full year. And then we'll also, if they don't re-sign him, we'll get a draft pick for him leaving. That adds value. The thing is, though, if they did that, the Dodgers would not have got Manny Machado. The Dodgers had zero need for Manny Machado in the offseason because they had Seager and Justin Turner on the left side of the infield. Obviously, Seager is out for the year with Tommy John. As soon as that happened, I was thinking Machado would be a great replacement for them because they have the prospects, they have the money, they can go just rent him. They may re-sign him in the offseason and move him to third and maybe move on from Turner, or maybe kind of just they move Turner to the right side of the infield. I mean, I don't know. Turner can kind of play a bunch of different positions. He's getting up there in age, and you also don't know, well, how long will it take for Seager to come back from Tommy John. The only other positional player I can think of that's had Tommy John surgery recently was Christian Vasquez. I mean, he was a catcher, so it's a little different, but his bat hasn't been the same, especially, I mean, he's never been a big power guy, but the ball, I mean, I don't know, he doesn't seem like the same hitter. They're both bat right-handed, both with their right arm, so I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how he comes back from Tommy John, because like I said, it's very rare hitters come back from it, but actually Seager bats left-handed, so I guess I'm not sure how that would affect him that much. So, all in all, the Dodgers, I think, came out great. The Dodgers, I give them an A on this. They give up their 4th prospect, according to Pipeline. Keith Law had it at their 6th. So you just split the difference. He's their 5th best prospect. And they have a good system. I mean, like Verdugo is a good young player. Ruiz, I like him. Jared Kendall's at 7. Like I'm kind of glad they didn't give up on Kendall. I think he's going to be a really good center fielder. And I thought that's who the Orioles would go after, is a guy like Jared Kendall. That's who I thought they were going to go after. Obviously, they didn't. They got Diaz. But hey, we'll see in a couple years. Maybe Diaz turns into a above-average, borderline all-star player. If that's the case, it's a pretty good return for a rental of Machado. But Machado should have never been a rental. And Baltimore has just continued to be stupid for many, many years. For the last 2 or 3 years, they've made dumb decision after dumb decision after dumb decision. And, I mean, yeah, there's a reason why they're the worst team in baseball. It's not by accident. So, I give the Dodgers an A on this, and I give the Orioles probably a D. I mean, they got what they got right now is probably what I thought they would get, but they should have traded them in January. That just should have happened. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, just kind of explain the trade and my thoughts. And I want to hear in the comments down below, who do you think won the trade? Do you think the Dodgers are going to re-sign him in the offseason? And do you think the Orioles got enough from Machado? Like I said, I told you what I think. I want to hear what you guys have to think down in the comments down below. I'll see you there, boys. Take it easy. Peace.